Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Excited about today's show, folks. I got a good one on tap. We have Jessica Freeberg in just a little while with Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. But first, I want to tell you about a book I've had the privilege of reading twice now. We have our guest returning with us. G.H. Cliff is with us. You've heard of him in different books. We had a book that we had on, it was a while back now, about John Eric Armstrong. B.R. Bates was on with that book. And this book that we're talking about today has to do with the Detroit area. And not one, not two, not three, but 5 different offenders that were rounded up by his task force. We're going to talk about that today. It's the true story of Detroit being overrun by multiple serial predators at the same time. It's called Serial City, Detroit and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators. It's put out by Wild Blue Press. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest before we bring him in. J.H. Cliff, Ph.D., is a former police chief, law enforcement commander, and investigative analyst, specializing in complex investigations, behavioral risk, compliance, cybercrime, and exploitation dynamics. He has directed national white-collar crime research, supported DOJ compliance work, co-authored true crime books, and published on investigative methodology, public safety, and organizational behavior. Let's bring him in now to True Crime Tuesday. Gerald Cliff. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing.
You're doing. That's good to hear. It's good for us all.
Every day above ground's a good one.
That's right, right? It's always blessed to be above ground, that's for sure. First of all, I tip my cap to you on Serial City. Incredibly compelling book. And in not only a tumultuous time in Detroit, which you were right in the middle of in Detroit's history, but one of those times where you really had to have focus in order to get through it. First question right off the bat, how do you not lose your head when things are starting in the criminal underground there, when things are really starting to ramp up?
Well, actually, they were starting to tone down. If you follow the history of the city at all, we were always murder capital of the world. There were times in the late 90s when Detroit's actual homicide numbers exceeded New York City's, which is 8 times larger than us. We had, for a number of years in 97, 98, I think it was, we were the most violent city in the nation, and the period that this book talks about was during our most violent crime in our history. So it was kind of challenging, to say the least. You know, when you comment on the activity covered in this book, it's about a 2.5-year period. We had 7 or 8 serials, all serial rape. Armstrong was in the middle of this. He was one that turned into a serial killer, but he raped as well. And as I was telling you earlier, we also, our sex crime unit broke a 5-state sex slavery ring, which is in a book yet to come. During all of that, the sex crime unit was getting 2 to 3 cases of rape a day on an average. So, now, yeah, it was hectic.
Let's start this out a little slow, because as we start out the book, you've got different divisions that are kind of separate. You've got sex crimes, you've got the different criminal divisions, violent crimes. They're still in their separate divisions, but yet you need to come together in order to start coming up against this new menace, because this new menace really is sex crimes, and not just sex crimes, but violent sex crimes. And it starts out not necessarily with violent sex crimes at first. There's kind of this band that comes together and is kind of operating like a paramilitary organization doing home invasions, correct?
Right. And that was basically the first chapter of the book. And I was trying to explain in enough detail that the reader would be able to understand the organizational structure and what role the violent crime section played in the whole battle against these multiple serials. The violent crime section was born out of a huge case in which a number of gentlemen got together, formed a little crime group, went out and purchased all the necessary equipment and started to look like Detroit police narcotic raid crews. And they utilized intelligence that they got through the criminal networks they were part of to identify dope pads, and they started raiding them as though they were the police executing search warrants. But of course, they weren't. They not only took the money, they took the dope. And as they progressed, they graduated into rape and eventually into shooting some of the victims. An organization was put together, which later became the Violent Crimes Section, and they implemented. They brought in FBI agents, state police detectives, county police detectives, put them all in one part of the police headquarters under a Detroit police commander, and said, do something about it. And they did. And I can't tell you the time frame, but this was about in 1994. There's an episode of the FBI put it together on this. There's an hour-long special on it that came out in about 97, 98. Anyways, tells the whole story. The gang was shut down in a blazing run and gun battle. It was quite an incredible scene. They were equipped with like what looked like a raid van. We interrupted, or the violent crime section at the time, as it was originally conceived, interrupted them in the midst of a so-called raid. They managed to get into the van, fled the scene with marked cars hot in pursuit, and I can't tell you how many shots were exchanged. There were 4 people in the van. I think 2 of them were killed. The other 2 were seriously injured, pursuing police. I mean, they were using some pretty heavy armament. One of them was shooting out the passenger side window with an M1A 308 semi-automatic rifle, and that kind of went back to front through the van these bad guys were in, and it did the job.
Jeez.
So.
Wow.
Yeah. Welcome to the Motor City.
I guess, right? You guys do it a little rougher there. Maybe a little rougher than any other city. I guess you earned the title Violent Crimes Task Force. And what I really found fascinating about, and I think maybe you understated it a little bit there, Jerry, about the Violent Crimes Task Force is, like you said, I mean, it's everybody from FBI to right down to the Detroit, city of Detroit there. But you've got everybody in between, so you can cover every line possible. You can cross every line to try and pursue these criminals, and you can get a warrant for everything.
The goal was a borderless law enforcement entity, and it paid off. It was huge, and it was copied by a number of cities later on. When I ended up in Chicago working a case, they had a violent crimes task force modeled after ours. So yeah, it worked well. And the aid of the FBI was just invaluable. I mean, they provided us training, they provided us resources wherever we didn't have them already, and they gave us they contributed a lot, and I think they got back as much as they contributed. If you talk to any of the guys from the FBI that were on the task force at the time, I think they'll freely admit that. So
now, forgive my shoddy memory. Is this in conjunction with RICO, before RICO, after RICO?
The Violent Crime Task Force was first assembled in 1994.
Okay.
And it became right after that horrendous case with the home invasion gangs. It was formalized.
Okay.
I would say probably around 99, or no, earlier than that, probably about 98, 97. It would have been formalized, because in 99, I got promoted from the rank of lieutenant to what we now call captain, but at the time the title was inspector, but nonetheless, it was a rank above lieutenant, and I was put in charge of the violent crime section, which had been formalized and was up and running for a few years before I got there. And I'll tell you, it was a thrill of a lifetime to be in charge of something like that. And sit back. The Armstrong case was actually my first big investigation that I got involved with after taking command of the violent crime section. It was incredible. That's kind of what inspired me to start saving cases for later on when I was old and gray. So
RICO Act, did it fall before the RICO Act that you guys put this together?
I'm not real familiar with what year RICO became law.
I'm trying to remember. I want to say this was potentially pre-RICO Act that you guys put this together.
You got me there. I don't know the history of the act. I do know that when I assumed command in '99, we had short-term and long-term teams. The long-term teams were doing organized crime. At the time, I think the big case was the Chaldean Mafia. And they had a couple other ones, but nothing quite as high profile as that. And they were quite busy.
Yeah, I bet. I just there's some other things that task force did too that I kind of want to talk about before we get to break and start getting into some of the cases that are in the book here, or some of the things that are in the book that I really admire, enjoyed reading about, that I thought were kind of special. And that is that the team really did function like a family, despite the fact that there were all these lines that crossed. And some of the more special things that happened with the community, which was really interesting, that the community really embraced this team. One of those things, and I know it's a burden in every community, is gangs and gang activity. And gang activity can really kind of infest itself in a community, all the way down to even tagging, and tagging's a huge thing. But this task force actually took its own time to go out and erase those tags and put its own tag in the community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That was the brainchild of our commander at the time, and we were kind of informal in terms of rank. Nobody called him Commander, sir. He was always Doc. Okay, and that was his nickname. When you went into Doc's office, you knew you were either in a lot of trouble or you were going to get a handshake or something good. But he was a big community person from Southwest Detroit, and Southwest Detroit was home to about, I think, a population of about 150,000 primarily Hispanics population. And street gangs were quite prevalent, and tagging was a big deal down there, marking their territory. Well, Doc got the idea that if that's the way they communicated, then maybe we should communicate to them that the city belongs to us, not them. So he got a stencil made of a little smiley face with the letters VCTF, Violent Crime Task Force, underneath it. We went around and he solicited donations from hardware stores and Home Depots and whatnot of paint. And wherever we found a home that had been tagged, because we have alleys, and that was a favorite target was the garages.
Yep.
Whenever we found gang tagging on storefronts or garages or whatever, we would go in and we would ask the owner if they'd like us to paint over them. And sometimes they were afraid to let us do it until we explained the fact that we were going to retag it with a little smiley face and the 4 letters VCTF at the bottom. And, it was interesting because as we were doing it, we would get these young gentlemen from the neighborhood coming up and inquiring what we were doing because they could see we were the police. And we were telling them we were taking back the neighborhood. And if the place that we were cleaning up ever got retagged, we were going to come down and make it very uncomfortable for whoever retagged it. And interestingly enough, the message got across. We never really had to make the points other than verbally. And it was a super effective program. We just basically gave the message to the taggers that we were the biggest and the baddest gang in the city, and they weren't taking it over. And they got the message.
It's incredibly interesting. They did wear their service weapons with them though when they were out
Oh yes,
tagging, right?
definitely. And
So if
and we had raid jackets that said Detroit Police on the back,
okay,
BCTF, and the whole. And there was no question who we were, and that was part of the strategy.
okay,
Was to let the little gangbangers know, that they were in over their head, and that there's a bigger, badder gang in town, and we're not going to stand for them taking our territory from us.
so the message was sent loud and clear, which you almost have to have a sense of humor about it and kind of smile when you see.
We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. It was, we got the biggest bang out of the reaction from the people who would come up and ask us what we were doing. And when we explained it to them, and the looks on their faces were well worth the time spent.
They had to be, because they're coming up and wanting to start trouble if they think that you or at least trying to intimidate you a little bit, like you're in our neighborhood now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in over your head, like they think they can move you along, but you're not going to be moved. It's just the funniest thing, and I don't get that mentality either.
Hard to say. I don't know what's behind it. I don't know how bad they thought they were. We never got shot at, which, we were always ready for. Nobody ever challenged us other than verbally, hey, that's Latin King's territory. Not anymore. We're taking it back. Let them know it belongs to us now. We're the violent crime section. You're not touching it. And it seemed to work.
Interesting. And not once did someone have the bravado to say, well, we could make an arrangement or anything like that, or try to bribe, or.
No, they never tried to bribe. Anytime we even got anything remotely sounding like pushback, I saw the boss do it a couple of times. He pulls his handcuffs out and starts spinning them around his finger and go, "You want to complain about this? You're more than welcome." And they immediately disappeared into the neighborhood.
That's funny. That's funny. There's a more positive thing that happened in the community, which I thought was really, really cool too. And that is, of course, businesses make the community go around as well. I mean, they employ the community that, there's a lot going on as far as businesses go. They contribute to local charities. One of the automakers in town wanted to help out as well with the local violent crimes task force. Can you explain to us what happened with that? Because they had some issues in the community and they wanted to give back as well.
Well, headquarters was right downtown in the center of the metropolitan loop. It's since been closed. There are pictures of the building with Model T Ford police cars in front of them, in front of the building. Naturally, it's no longer used. It's not even safe anymore, but it's still there. But when I was there, I could look out the fifth floor window and I could see the GM tower 2 blocks from us.
Oh, wow.
They had a vested interest. Ford World headquarters was on our west side. They had a vested interest in the safety of the city. Chrysler World headquarters is just north of us, a couple of, about 10 miles north of the city limit. But they used to be actually inside the city in my time, before they moved out to their new fabulous headquarters that's bigger than the Pentagon. But so yeah, we had all three of the big automakers right either in or on the border of the city of Detroit, and they were invested in the safety and the reputation of the city that they lived and worked in. And General Motors had a policy, and this first time I knew this. Those auto carrier trucks that they use to move new vehicles. At the time, if someone was loading one of those with a new car and that new car somehow got scratched or damaged, it had to come off that truck and it had to go back to the plant because repairing it meant that it wasn't new anymore. So there was an area in our northern suburbs where some of those cars would go quite frequently, and they'd be used for special events. A band comes to town for a concert, they need transportation. They get them a couple of Chevy Suburbans with, 150 miles on them that got somehow damaged, got a ding in the door or something like that, and couldn't be resold. So they'd be repurposed in that manner. And my boss was quite the wangler. He liked to negotiate. He went to GM and talked to somebody, and he says, we could put some of those cars to use. And as it turned out, when we explained what the violent crime section was, we ended up with the fleet of unmarked cars, and most of them were fairly new. One of our detectives was driving a new Cadillac.
Wow.
Yeah, scratch in the fender, but he was driving it. Other than that, it was brand new. And we needed Suburbans. We got Suburbans. It got to a point where the company was actually sponsoring kind of a semi-silent program. I know when I made chief in Saginaw, which is about 100 miles north of Detroit, I made a phone call and was able to take advantage. They assigned me a brand new Buick that had a scratch in it. So, and I had it for 2 years, never paid a nickel for it.
Wow.
So,
yeah, it's good to have good community members who want to contribute back and want to help in any way they can, right? To help the effort.
Well, Ford offered us 4 Lincoln Continentals because one weekend they came to us, and apparently the Dearborn PD or Dearborn Heights, I forget which city it was in, was having trouble at their assembly plant. It seemed like every weekend about $250,000 worth of Mustang tires and wheels were disappearing. And they could never figure out where they were going or who was responsible. We got a phone call from somebody that had heard of the team, the violent crime section. We assigned a couple of investigative teams to the assembly plant one weekend, and by Monday morning we had the people in custody. It was security guards at the plant were collaborating with some external people. They were loading trailers with Ford Mustang tires and wheels, and like I said, about $250,000 a night they were losing.
Wow.
We shut the ring down, and I got a phone call the next morning, Monday morning, from a representative at Ford Motors World Headquarters, and said, "Listen, we can't thank you for solving this for us. You can't imagine how much money you've saved us already. We have 5 Lincoln Continentals, and nobody's doing anything with them. We'd like to bring them over to headquarters and let you use them." I went to my boss and I said, "You need 5 Lincoln Continentals?" He goes, "Oh yeah, for a parade maybe." He says, "We need something undercover, something that doesn't really stand out." So we ended up with about 2 or 3 Ford Tauruses and I forget what else, but they wanted to show their appreciation, and we were always looking for cars. I mean, police work's kind of hard on rolling stock.
Oh yeah.
You get into a chase, you crack one up, you hurt one, but it was a welcome addition from our community.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how hard it is on an engine, just an engine alone, not to mention suspensions to do police work, or even, how many chases you guys can get into with people, because people watch TV and they think they can easily get away from the police if they just stomp on the accelerator and go. That's not
equally hard on surveillance cars. You've got to keep up with the bad guys, and they're not known for following the law, even when it comes to the speed limit. So
right. So it's I gotta imagine, and even with the souped up what's it called, the Defender package or whatever it's called that comes with police cars.
Yes.
I mean, it's still not the same. It's you could chew through a car pretty quickly. So that's for sure. That's for sure. I tell you what, Jerry, let's take our break here. But when we come back, let's get into the cases a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about these multiple serial predators and why the sudden boom and escalation that goes on in Detroit, and how the task force deals with it, because it seems like it's handled pretty efficiently. And let's talk about why it happened efficiently. That's coming up next. Serial City, Detroit, and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators is the name of the book. We have a link in the description of this program. G.H. Cliff is the author on this book, and we have a link, as I said, in the description of this program, put out by Wild Blue Press. And we'll talk more about the multiple serial predator era in Detroit coming up next. But first, let me tell you about our sponsor, Jelly Bean and Julia's. If you're looking for a great place to sit down, have some great barbecue, have a great libation, and maybe see some great entertainment, Jelly Bean and Julia's in Coon Rapids, Minnesota is your place. And their specials for the rest of the week include for Wednesday and Thursday, tonight as well, happy hour, 25% off all appetizers, excluding their appetizer sampler platter, half price off all single pour well drinks, half price off Mick Golden Light and Coors Light taps, and half price off domestic cans and bottles. Then on Friday, it's that smoked prime rib dinner, folks. I was out there last Friday. Let me tell you, that smoked prime rib dinner is amazing. Even the au jus on that smoked prime rib dinner is smoked. I got to tell you, Corey's got that walk-in smoker, which is amazing. He starts smoking that prime rib, both the 12 and 16 ounce cuts, overnight. So it's ready for you. It's ready at 4:30 in the afternoon. It is there until it's gone. So get there early. And of course, that smoked prime rib dinner comes with the tequila berry salad, that sweet and tangy dressing with the bacon bits and much, much more. That classic salad you remember from Tequila Berry's restaurant. You've got the Boston baked potato, which is deep fried in the avocado oil. It's a nice, healthy oil. It's not one of those hydrogenated fats. And you get it loaded. If you want it loaded, you can get it with the sour cream and the bacon, so you can ruin the whole healthy thing. You can get the sour cream, the bacon bits. You can get cheese, much, much more loaded. I always get mine loaded. My cardiologist hates me for it. And then you can also get it with Texas toast and much, much more. And it's such a great price for this smoked prime rib dinner. Be there Friday. You'll see me out there. Sundays, breakfast on Sundays only. You've got some great selection on breakfast on Sunday at Jelly Bean and Julia, including chicken and waffles and much, much more. Jelly Bean and Julia's. Go check it out. You can also check it out at jellybeanandjulias.com if you want to see all the selections online. You'll see the menu there and much, much more. And, of course, they've got catering. So if you need an event catered, check out Jelly Bean and Julia's. Great catering service as well. Jellybeanandjulias.com, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, on Coon Rapids Boulevard. Jellybeanandjulias.com. Get there. All right, more with G.H. Cliff. Name of the book is Serial City, Detroit and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators. We'll be back with Jerry right after this. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest, G.H. Cliff. Name of the book, Serial City, Detroit and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators. It's put out by Wild Blue Press. We have a link in the description of this program. Go ahead and click that link right now and pick up this book. It's an amazing book, folks. Great book about it's a true story, first of all, of Detroit being overrun by multiple serial predators at the same time. Didn't stay that way for very long, though, because of the Violent Crimes Task Force, which we were talking about today. Jerry, let's talk about the escalation. We started by talking about this group that kind of acted as a paramilitary force, but then you had Paul Ellis Smith that came in. He was kind of the start of things. But you get these offenders that start showing up one after another. And it starts off with Paul Ellis Smith, who it's the sexual assault from burglary to rape. He gets the eventual life sentence. But then it starts escalating from, and I hate to say just, because there's no such thing as just when it comes to these sexual crimes. But you get burglary, rape with a threat of violence, rape with violence, and then a weapon. And then the weapon's used. And then you get serial sexual offenses, and then serial violent crimes. But then you start to see these coming at you from multiple offenders in multiple parts of the city. Explain to me, as these things are hitting you from different areas and things aren't making sense, you know this isn't one offender that's doing this. How does your task force maintain its composure when it would seem that other cities might come apart and start chasing maybe false leads? Maybe they start chasing their tail. How do you guys keep it together and realize that this is coming from multiple threats and to start chasing multiple people?
Well, it's kind of a complex uh, explanation. I'm trying to find a word here. First off, I don't think we're that unique. I think you're gonna find a lot of big cities, especially California and Florida, where they've been very, very good at dealing with serial crime because they've had so much experience at it. And experience, I think, is the key here. We learned early on. You got to remember the time frame that this all is taking place in. This is just after the introduction of DNA as a crime fighting tool that was first utilized in a courtroom in 1988 in England.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we're looking at Armstrong and Smith and Ross, some of our first ones in our first rapist murderers. It was in the very last year of the 90s and the first year or so of the 2000s. DNA was still being challenged in court because it hadn't been utilized to the extent that it has, that it wasn't as founded and based as it is now. Now it's, if you've got DNA, if we got your DNA at a crime scene, you're guilty. There's no way to defend against that.
Yeah.
Back in those days, it was still being challenged in court. So we were also beginning to learn to use computer crime analysis. We were doing computer crime mapping instead of the old pin map on the wall you used to look at when you look at the old Dragnet movies or some of the earlier police movies. Having access to the computers, even the early ones, gave us some advantages, and we were learning as we went, and we were teaching it to ourselves. But we also had a couple of really big criminal justice universities here in the state. Michigan State University is that's where the concept of community policing was born. Wayne State, it's an urban campus right downtown the center of the city of Detroit. Get over 50,000 students. It's a big place. They got a medical school, law school. They got a big criminal justice program, and they were kind of helpful in helping us put together the whole concept of crime mapping, crime analysis, teaching. We were learning as we went the difference between, say, for example, a cluster of crime and a pattern of crime. A cluster being simply the occurrence of crimes in a geographic area, and then to become a pattern, a number of those crimes have to have similar MOs. And we were learning to distinguish all of that stuff all over again using computers. And we knew how to do it from the old pin maps, but using computers made it so much easier, so much faster. And we were able to spot the patterns before they got completely out of hand. So we were at a point where, it was kind of a turning point in the whole process of investigation, I guess you would say. And we were kind of right on the cusp of it by being forced onto the cusp of it by the number of cases we kept getting. So we were learning as we went. And we were going very quickly because of the volume of cases we were getting.
Yet there was still some shoe leather that had to be chewed up at the same time, because like you said, DNA alone was not enough to convict. You still had to have witnesses, you still had to have evidence, you still had to have things to convict these different serial offenders, correct?
Confessions were a tremendous help.
Yeah. In one case, in one offender, when it started to turn violent, you had an offender that actually shot a victim and then checked in on it, correct?
Right. I'm not sure if that was Smith or if it was one of our West Side serials, but I think there were two in the book that used guns. I think his nickname was Big Daddy. He used to operate out of his car.
Yeah.
He was known to use a weapon, and I think as his string of offenses progressed, he went from nonviolent in terms of a weapon. Rape is violent, but he wasn't using a weapon. He was just using brute force, and then he graduated to a weapon. And then at one point, I think he was one of the two that actually shot a victim. And that's characteristic of some of the patterns that you see in serial offense when you start studying serial criminals. There's a number of things that you begin to see. You see, they tend to spiral out from their base, their home base, and as they offend, their comfort zone becomes larger. And if you realize that their offenses tend to spiral out from their home base, and you backtrack it, you can narrow down where they're operating from many times, and that gives surveillance crews an opportunity to focus their attention where a perpetrator is likely to be operating from. That's a tremendous help. The fact that they escalate in terms of not just violence. John Eric Armstrong was a perfect example of. He started off as a rapist and graduated to a rape murderer, and when by the time he got to Detroit, his pattern was so developed that what really began to escalate was the number of times that he would offend. The frequency of his offenses got to a point where even he said, when we first locked him up and put him in the back of a police car, he just shook his head and said, "I'm glad it's finally over." So we saw the escalation effect. We saw the comfort zone expansion. We saw the increase in frequencies. We also had an opportunity with Smith to see a graphic example of an old, strongly held, I guess you would say, theory that serials never really quit.
Yeah.
They either die, they relocate, or they go to jail. Well, Smith was active at the same time as our East Side schoolgirl rapist, Esselunga Ross. And in the same area, which is what made the book that much more pertinent, because there's only been a couple of times that I've been able to find on the internet where there's been a record of two serials that didn't know one another, serial offenders that were not working together, that were operating at the same time, targeting roughly the same population of victims, and in our case, two precincts. I think there was one case that may have happened somewhere in Russia, but the records aren't readily available, and one that happened in California. And some pretty high-profile guys, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember their names. I'm sorry. But so, not only were we kind of unique in the number of cases we had, we were very unique in the fact that we had two operating in the same neighborhoods at the same time, targeting the same victim.
I had a guest on a couple of years ago who was trying to hunt down a couple of serial sex offenders. And he had stated that these serial sex offenders talk to each other and they have rings. And if you can infiltrate their rings, you can hunt them down. That they all communicate. They're all in communicado with each other. And I thought that is the wildest thing, that somehow if you can get to one, you can get to many. That they trade pictures, they trade videos, they trade, they traffic, which is the sickest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Child molesters are notorious for that. And another thing I had the unpleasant opportunity to learn when I was running sex crimes and child abuse. And it's, the internet offers unique opportunities. It's about the best way I can put it. And, stamp collectors can get together and talk, and, serial sex offenders can get together and talk the same way. And they all seem to think that there's an element of anonymity by doing it on the internet, and much to their surprise, hopefully, we have a lot more access to the internet than they realize. So
yeah. And I think they think that the dark web is safe. There's no such thing. I mean, there's just no such thing.
There is, but it's not impenetrable.
Right. Right.
You know, as Bitcoin was supposed to be,
untraceable.
Tight, and it's not.
Yeah.
You know, people think that they can launder money using Bitcoin. Well, they could try, but the FBI knows how to track them down.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Exactly. And like you said, there's that interesting point in the book where a sex offender never stops. You know, from birth to death, a serial offender never stops. You know, they go away to prison for a little while, they may die, but it never leaves them. It's the itch they never can scratch. They keep going. Which, I have to ask this question, Jerry. I've asked this of other guests, but I have to ask this of you. So if you can't treat it, how do you punish it?
You're not going to like what I'm thinking of right now.
No, go ahead. I mean, it's an open forum, but by all means. I mean,
how do you, if you encountered a rabid dog, what would you do with them?
Well, you have to put it down, don't you?
Makes sense to me. Michigan doesn't have a death penalty, okay, and it's not real popular in a lot of states. So the taxpayers, everybody in this book, is the ones that are still alive have spent the majority of their adult lives behind bars at in Jackson, Michigan, at Jackson Prison. It's the largest walled prison in the United States. I don't know if they know each other. I don't know if they talk to each other. I really don't care, as long as they're kept in cages where they can't get out and they can't prey on innocent people.
Now to clarify, I'm not saying I'm not saying I put all child sex offenders down. But I'm saying with a rabid dog, you have to put it down. But you're right. You probably have to put sex offenders in cages for the rest of their life, because otherwise, I don't know what the reoffender rate is by state or the reoffender rate is by county or whatever it is, but it has to be obscenely high, right?
Well, you asked one of my favorite questions to answer. The last time I looked, and this was back when I was chief at Saginaw, and I sat on the county corrections board, the recidivism rate was somewhere in the area of 69 to 70%.
Oh.
And it had been that for as long as way back when I was in my first years of college. It had always been somewhere in the neighborhood of 70%. If you were General Motors and you had a 70% failure rate, how long do you think you'd be in business?
Not very long.
I mean, at some point you have to realize that all this correctional philosophy and rehabilitation theory and all this crap it's not as promising as they make it sound. Let's put it that way. If it were, we wouldn't have a 70% failure rate.
And okay, so I'm going to turn this to a sexual violent offender, because it seems like the worm turns at a certain point. You have this point, especially like say with John Eric Armstrong, where he went sexual then went violent, right? When you get the taste of blood, I don't want to equivalate humans to animals, but it seems like with a certain section of humanity, when they get that taste for blood, they don't want to go back. It's like again the itch they can't scratch. Like, they get that taste for kill. I think it's a Police lyric. I have no idea. The Police, the band. You get that taste for killing. You want more and more, right?
I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I got a PhD, but it's not in psychology. It's not in, it's in a totally different area. But I think if you talked to a psychologist, somebody that is well trained in that area, I think that they would tell you that it's about power. A lot of times, it's not about the sexual attraction. It's about the ability to assert power over another person, starting off with invading their private space, home invader, progressing to sexual assault. That's one of the most egregious violations of personal space you can think of, to ultimately taking their life. And when you've taken one and liked it, and the thrill is sometimes what they're after, I think, and that's the reason that they escalate. And that's the reason that when they've escalated a murder, they tend to escalate in terms of frequency. And a lot of these people are fairly smart. They're not all your average street criminal. A lot of these people intellectually are a little bit more advanced, I would say, than the average, and they, I think, enjoy the hunt. And the prize at the end of the hunt is what they do to their victims.
Yeah. Let's switch it up a little bit as we're getting short on time here. The way that you've set up your hunt, we'll switch it to this. We'll little clever play on words, is that technology, of course, comes into this. You mentioned that computers came in at the end of this when you were pursuing these predators. And again, we'll leave the pursuit of these predators for the book so that people can go and check out this wonderful book, Serial City, Detroit and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators, because it is quite fascinating as to how you hunt down these 5 different serial predators and how you get them. AI has become a huge thing in our society. Technology has become a huge thing in our society. DNA evidence, a huge thing in our society. Has it truly made the job easier for our police forces to go out and get these criminals and stop serial offenders from offending?
A resounding yes. Before I was promoted to the executive ranks, I was in charge of a home invasion task force that covered all 13 of the city's precincts. And we utilized crime mapping and a combination of computer-related sources of information to combat a home invasion problem. Our city had endured somewhere in the area between 14 and 16,000 home invasions a year in 97, 98. And they formed the home invasion task force. And I ended up in charge of it. And our utilization of real-time crime mapping, combined with a partnership with the corrections department, brainstorming with my detectives, we talked about the home invasion. And, the obvious came up, well, where do you learn home invasion? There's no school that you can go to. There's no trade school that teaches you how to break into houses. And nobody just one day decides to become a professional home invader. It's a learned skill set, I guess you would say. And so we started thinking about it, and we started doing a number of innovative things. We partnered with our corrections department to get them to give us a monthly report of newly released people on parole. And we went through those, and we found the ones that were in the system for home invasions, burglaries, larcenies from auto, that type of crime. And we started looking at where they were released to. And then we started comparing that with where the clusters of reported crimes were appearing on our computerized maps. And we were looking for a connection, and we found them quite frequently. That's where the comfort zone analysis comes into play, because we would see a pattern, an identifiable pattern of offenses beginning within a 2 to 3 day period after a release on parole, and expanding outward. Well, we kind of knew where to look. We put our surveillance cars on the base, the home base of the person just released, and we figured it out after a couple of months doing that strategy. We were catching that person within 2.5 to 3 days after they were released in the act. We would catch them in a house they were breaking into.
Oh, wow.
So it worked. And it was that kind of brainstorming and utilizing all of the technology that we could get our hands on, and like I said, partnering with the corrections department to give us intelligence that we otherwise wouldn't have had. Not that we couldn't have it. They were surprised when we asked for it, and when we asked for it, they gave it. And when they gave it to us, we turned it into law enforcement gold, I guess you would say. And as a result of that, within 2 years, we had knocked the violent crime index in the city down 33%, which is huge for a city like Detroit.
Yeah, that is huge. That's a huge number.
The chief called a press conference, and right after that, he called me on the phone and says, "You're going to be an inspector. We're promoting you for your work on the home invasion task force." He said, "The next thing I want you to do is solve this pre-robbery problem." So it never ends, but the same technology, the same techniques, and it all worked on the street robbery issues. So, and it all worked the same way to the same degree with the pursuit of the serial offenders. And I guess the lesson to be learned is that crime analysis is an incredibly exciting field. It's a lot more than just sitting in front of a computer and looking at dots on a map. It's actually a very, very significant tool in fighting crime and keeping the crime rate down.
I guess my final question here, Jerry, is this. As you're forecasting with AI, and I'm going to ask you to do a little forecasting here as well. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Minority Report, the Spielberg movie, where basically technology forecasts who's a criminal, who's not, before it actually happens. But do you see a day where potentially AI could take someone who's an offender or a serial offender and be able to map out what they do potentially 3 steps before they do it? So they're catching them as they're doing something, or potentially before they do something.
Interestingly enough, I've been working with AI quite a bit in the last couple of years, and in a lot of different areas. And the one thing that I've learned about AI, and I learned it because I asked it, and it confided in me how it was able to come up with so many viable predictions about so many things and be so right so much of the time, is because one of the areas it's best at is spotting and analyzing patterns, repeats of events of similar nature, and analyzing that statistically and coming up with the percentage likelihood that it's going to happen again. Translate that into the law enforcement field however you will. It's still a brand new field, and I'm sure that there's going to be just tons of different areas that AI could be incredibly useful. We could talk for hours about the possibilities that have floated through my through my devious mind. But yeah, I think it's going to play a huge role. I think it'll be as big as possibly as fingerprints or DNA. I think that it's going to become an incredibly useful tool in fighting crime.
Interesting. Yeah, I think in as far as crime fighting goes, I think it could be an incredible tool as far as recognizing patterns. I think it's very good at doing that. I think it's exceptional at doing that.
Recognizing patterns that made us successful. If there was a tool as effective as AI that can do it 1,000 times faster than we could, our success tells you something about pattern analysis. Multiply that times 1,000.
Yeah. It's the only thing I don't want to use the word fear. The only thing afraid it might do is it might, you get at times, and you read about it everywhere, is that you get these little anomalies in AI that where it tends to go a little too far, and it makes mistakes. And I just, you are playing with people's lives when you're talking about, making accusations or
I've experienced it's mistakes from time to time in the last couple of years of working with it. But the thing to remember is the human element is so important when you're dealing with it. The human element will never be indispensable to AI because it takes a level of judgment, and the awareness that it can make a mistake has to always be there. And it doesn't have it itself. Everything it says, it thinks it's right based on its analysis and its statistical model. But the person running AI is the one that has to kind of rein it in.
And as long as we never stop pounding pavement, right? I mean, that's got to be the number one thing.
You're going back to chapter 1 and one of my boss's favorite acronyms, GOYAKOD. Get off your ass and knock on doors.
Yeah. As long as that continues happening, I think we're safe. I mean, as long as we never lean on the tools too hard and we keep doing the same work that we've always done, I think it's always foolproof. So the book is a good one, folks. I encourage you to go get it. Serial City, Detroit, and the Hunt for Multiple Serial Predators. We've made it easy for you. There's a link in the description of this program, so go out and get it. G.H. Cliff is our author on this. And Jerry, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry about the first mix-up.
Oh, no. No worries. No worries at all. Stuff happens. I'll tell you, stuff happens all the time. So
help me.
And thank you so much for being with us today. That's what matters. I greatly appreciated our time together. So thank you so much.
Happy to do it.
Thank you. Folks, let's switch gears. Let's bring in Jessica Freeberg. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again. Time we've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And with that, I need a co-hostess. So what I do is I think to myself, I know of only one person I think is more than qualified for this bit. I know of one who brings the funny. I know one who, by gosh, is more than easy on the eyes. I know of one who I know Bender would say, why would you consider anyone else? In fact, he chastised me when I said, well, I could think of at least one or two others. And he went, oh no, Mr. Tim, oh no. Eater of worlds, destroyer of charts. How could you? I brought you in as my second. I brought you in as my co-priest. I got promoted during the week. I don't know if you know this or not. But I brought you in to fill in when I can't hold up my duties, my ceremonial duties as priest of the Church of Jess. And I said, well, Bender, I'm sorry. I didn't know that I had been promoted. And he said, well, yes, you've been promoted. And I said, okay. And he said, not only that, but, should both hands fall off from making all these charts that she will dominate, I need someone to take over my duties. I said, well, that's why you have 47 kids. I mean, that's why Bender's got a little bit too much testosterone.
Bender's been busy.
Yeah, and his wife's uterus fell out. But that's beside the point. I said to Bender, well, Bender, you've got a good point. There really is only one choice for this deal today. And ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Eater of worlds, destroyer of charts. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. With only 14 books coming out on August 11th. Jessica Freeberg. Jess, how you doing?
I'm good. It's only 3, Tim.
Oh,
just
3.
3.
I'm sorry, 3. Now, you have the titles already, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you name them all off the top of your head?
Yeah. I think I can.
All right.
So, we've done these monsters of various regions, and we did the final 2 regions. So we have a full, complete compendium of monster books across the United States now.
Ooh, good
So we
word,
finished off-
compendium. All right.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like I'm an author or something.
Yeah.
So we have the monsters of California and the Southwest, and then we have monsters of the Rocky Mountains. And then the title I'm really excited for. I'm excited for all of them, but The Witches of New England, which I'm so stoked about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just some good old dark history.
Nice. All right. So August 11th, right around the corner.
Yes, it's coming up. I can't believe it.
All right. Well, I can't believe it either. We're in SummerSlam week now. So it's SummerSlam week, 1 week, and then boom, we're right there. We're officially in Jessica Freeberg week. There you go. We'll give you a whole week.
I'll take it. I like a week.
There you go. You get your own week. So there you be.
Do you think that means my kids will do the dishes and the laundry and it's a real week?
They better.
Ugh.
Do you need me to come over there and crack the whip? I can do that
You
for
might
you.
have to. They're kind of lazy.
I could do that. I could say, do you know whose week this is? Do you need Bender to come with me? Because
I think if the 2 of you were here, a lot would get done.
Boy, you want someone who knows about slave labor. Bender does.
Bender does.
Yeah, boy, does
and I
he
could
ever.
just sit back and read a Stephen King book and relax.
Yeah. Well, I hear Bender's good at foot massages too. That's just what I hear. Yeah, he can tone you up for those foot pics you've been talking about for. Yeah.
I was going to say, then we could videotape it and put it on OnlyFans and just get all kinds of rich.
And yep, all kinds of rich. 47 different types of rich. That's for sure. Yep. Oh boy, what a way to start the show. All right. With that, boy, have we got stories today. Stories, and more stories. I'll tell you this much. We're going to dial back the lewd, nude, and crude this week a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not much.
Cleaning it up a bit, huh?
Just clean it up a little bit. I got a call from the home today. If I started dealing out more of those stories, they were going to check me in and check my dementia level. So I had to dial it back just slightly. So just a little bit, not much, but just a tad. I know. Although I'm getting fed a lot of these stories from our listeners, I will tell you that.
I know, and I thank them and I blame them all at the same time.
But we did get quite a few good stories from our listeners this week. So thank you to everybody who sent stories. I'll just put it that way. You'll get a blanket thank you, but all the usual sent stories this week. So thank you so much, and you'll hear them throughout the show today. By the way, if you have a story for us, tim@darknessradio.com. So thank you so much. We'll start it off today with the headline: Towel, Tequila, and Trouble. Jupiter man accused of a bizarre early morning break-in. We're starting.
I'm intrigued.
Right away in Florida, Jess. We're going to just jump right into Jupiter, so to speak. A Jupiter man was jailed Thursday after allegedly breaking into a neighbor's home to slice a lime and drink her tequila with a towel on his head. Because what a great way to start the morning.
Wait, did he just get out of the shower? Was his hair wet? Is that why he had the towel on his head?
It's an unusual choice for a guy, right? I mean, if I had hair, I don't know that I've ever started when I did have hair, I don't know that I ever started the morning with a towel on my head.
I mean, girls do because we have so much hair, and that's how you kind of dry it. It's magical, really. You put that towel on there, and then you take it off, and it's like half dry.
Well, you know, I did have a magical hairdo at one time. I've talked about it before. It was the magical spiked business in the front, curly long mullet in the back, the party in the back. And then God took one look at it and said, my God, what a horrible demonic mess. And then he took it all away. Yeah, that's how it worked. I even heard the voice boom from overhead and said, oh my, and then just, let's make that go away. And then
that is not how the hair was intended to be worn, Tim.
Yeah, then it went up like the burning bush. It was horrible. Anyways, I digress. According to a Jupiter Police Department affidavit, but I never put a towel on it. It never once. I mean, because it was spiked. I mean, the top dried very quickly. The back, just like a poodle, would dry eventually. As you can imagine. According to a Jupiter Police Department affidavit, the victim woke up around 6:30 a.m. to her dogs barking continuously, as would happen when someone would come in to steal your tequila and a lime.
Yeah. Phoebe would be furious.
Oh, I bet. I mean, Phoebe would go nuts. How about the others? I mean, was it just...
I mean, they would be barking their heads off. Phoebe would bite.
Oh.
Yeah, she's been nipping lately. She's a bit of a biter.
No bartending dogs at your house, or no?
Just barkers and biters.
No friendly bartending dogs at your place. Note to self. She grabbed a firearm and walked downstairs, our victim, where she confronted an uninvited guest, later identified as 30-year-old Jeffrey Bartimus, who was heading towards her back door at that time. And I'm not talking dirty here. We're not in that part of the show yet, so let's not go there, folks. I know that's where you went automatically. Bartimus apologized and quickly jumped her back fence with a towel wrapped around his head. Investigators say he lives just down the street, had tried opening the victim's front door moments earlier while holding a six-pack of beer, so he had already started for the day. An encounter captured.
Oh.
Yeah, he was already into it. Yeah.
He just came to party.
Yeah, he's hanging out, just figured he'd have a drink with a neighbor. The encounter, by the way, was captured on a Ring doorbell camera, so police had evidence. Once inside through an unlocked back sliding glass door, police say he then helped himself to her Svedka vodka. Is that very expensive? I'm more of a...
I mean, I'm familiar with the brand.
I'm more of a Stoli Grey Goose guy myself. I've never drank the Svedka.
I'm going to have to...
Svedka.
Oh, it came right up. It's like it can hear us. Creepy.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, AI.
No, it's like $12.99.
That's not very expensive.
No, it's pretty cheap, honestly. It's going to give you a hangover for sure.
And Milagro tequila. Again, that's not one I'm familiar with. I bet you that's kind of cheap as well.
I would think if she goes cheap on her vodka, she's probably going cheap on her tequila.
She's not making a big splash on the tequila, I'm guessing either.
No.
Yeah,
she just likes to drink casually.
Leaving both, it says here, leaving open bottles. He left them both open, a cut lime and a knife on the kitchen counter. So he was cordial. He left it open for her so she could enjoy as well, I'm guessing.
And he apologized.
He did. He said sorry. A police canine unit tracked Bartimus straight back to his nearby residence where officers found his back door open. Again, we're not talking dirty here. We're talking literally the back door was open. Police said Bartimus claimed he had been sleeping all morning after eating breakfast and drinking a few beers and denied entering his neighbor's home. He just said, no, it wasn't me. Don't bother looking. Me. Yeah, don't look at the Ring doorbell camera. When he was told he was under arrest, he allegedly refused to get into the patrol vehicle and had to be pulled outside by officers. Bartimus was booked into the Palm Beach County Jail for counts of unarmed burglary of an occupied dwelling, petty theft from a dwelling, and resisting an officer without violence. So that was his morning.
I really hope that he was still wearing the towel in his mugshot.
That would be hysterical. Did you ever see the old Van Halen video where David Lee Roth is brought out of the hotel room and he's wearing two towels, the one around his waist and the one around his head?
That's what I'm envisioning this whole time you're telling the story.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the way that the whole thing went down. Pretty much. Our next story is an unusual one. I bring this up as kind of our early cast palate cleanser because I find this to be shocking. Just absolutely shocking. So, this story, shocking to a T, I think it will kind of reset things for us before we get deeper into the cast. So, I want you to consider this. As I take my swig of Diet Coke with lime. We start out with lime. We end up with a little bit of snake bite venom.
Ooh.
We'll chase it with that. An LA County College pitcher survived a snake bite after 34 doses of antivenom.
34?
Yeah, he was on his way out.
Wow.
Yeah. A college pitcher survived a scary situation during his run through a Claremont trail last weekend. Jake Entrup said, I was just in agonizing pain causing everything obviously hurt. I think he's still under the influence. It started out like any normal weekend hike for Entrup. He was running the Claremont Wilderness Trail with his dog and his mom not far behind. Good thing he got it and not mom, because mom wouldn't have survived.
Kudos to mom for going out for a run with him, though. That's amazing.
Yeah. He says, I got blindsided by the snake, which was right at the turn, Entrup said. Nothing I could really have done. When he looked down, he could see the bite marks. So it must have just got him as he was running by. I turned around and I saw the snake. It coiled, Entrup said. I saw it coil up, hissed at me, and then it slithered off into the bush. Luckily, Entrup's family friend is a nurse and happened to be hiking the trail that morning. She calmed me down, Entrup said. She was a really big part of it because at times I couldn't see my hand. He was airlifted to Pomona Valley Trauma Center and placed in the ICU. After 20 doses of antivenom, he still needed additional care. I think the snake should be charged with attempted murder.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Dang, what kind of snake was it? Did you say and I missed it?
No, not yet. I don't know if they got it. He was transferred to a different hospital where he got 14 more doses of the antivenom. His mom was by his side through it all. She had to watch the neurotoxin from the venom take over his body. When you sit there and you watch your son, who's already in pain, Mom Stacy Entrup said, the whole time you're talking, his eyes are twitching and his body is twitching. That had to be absolutely frightening.
I can't even imagine. That poor mom.
Dr. Gabriel Campion with Dignity Health Northridge said the amount of antivenom Entrup needed is on the high end. It's unusual. It's really dependent on the symptoms someone has, he said. For a life-threatening case, you may need a very large amount. After almost a week, Entrup is walking around with the help of crutches. He's eager to get back onto the pitcher's mound and the trails. He's thankful for everyone who helped him and urged everyone to be wary well on Southern California trails. Always be aware, he said, you never know what's around the bush. I only read that just to kind of let you know that, yes, animals are criminals too.
That's a criminal snake.
That's a criminal snake right there.
Honestly, I would have never thought, I'm naive about snake bites. We don't really have snakes that bite around here very much, do we?
We have rattlers in southern Minnesota.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But I would have thought, you get antivenom, like one antivenom dose and you're good to go. Like, no. In the Southwest, they're horrible. In fact, my I have a cousin who's a little bit on the how would you put it? He's on the crazy brave side, I guess is what you would say. Yeah, he used to go out into the desert in Arizona with just a pistol looking for him. Mm. Yeah, and he would wear these thigh-high leather boots, and he would get bit repeatedly on the ankle. But he had his stripper boots on, so he was safe.
Yes, he had his stripper. Thank you, Jess. Yes, he had his man stripper boots on. He wasn't necessarily safe. Some of them would get through the boot. So he's had many antivenom shots.
The kids and I used to watch this guy on YouTube who would have things bite him on purpose. And he would videotape. I can't think of his name. I thought for sure he was going to die. But he's still around. But he would have all poisonous spiders, snakes. I mean, you name it. And he would have it bite him. Yeah. My cousin was RFK Jr. before RFK Jr. He would just sit around and let snakes bite him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he's still alive, but he's wild.
He's still alive. Yeah. Our next story was sent in to us by one of our listeners. I'm not going to name him because you'll be like, why on God's green earth would someone send you this story? I'm going to repeat it again tomorrow. It's that good. You ready for this?
Oh, gosh. You're protecting his anonymity.
I am, yes. Thank you. And thank you for saying that word because I don't know that I could have got that word out today. It's one of those days. A bucket filled with organs is found during a search of a funeral home. You know, every once in a while, you just got to keep a bucket full of organs back in the... And I didn't say organs. I said organs. That's right. Where are we headed to here? What states? It's a state of confusion, a state of shock is where we're headed.
I don't want to go there. Yeah.
Mary Miller's home has been a place where she can feel close to her two late sons, but now she said it's clouded with suspicion. It's like a nightmare that you don't wake up from, Miller told 13 Investigates. In 2020, Miller buried her 12-year-old son, Tyree, who said she died by suicide.
Oh, no.
5 years later, her 20-year-old son, Markavian, died in a car crash. Being a mother that buried two children in less than 5 years apart from one another, it's devastating, Miller said. The only piece Miller said she found was a memorial room she built just for her sons. A glass case in the room features photos, ashes, and other treasures she has to remind her of her sons. I watched you as a child. I can watch you while you're here, Miller said. I'm able to come in here and sit in my memorial room for them and talk to them when I'm feeling down or when I need that extra strength. But Miller said that peace was shattered in November when police raided a community funeral home in the 3rd Ward. Miller said she worked with Unique Green, who is listed as the president of a community funeral home for both her sons' services. When I heard the name, because the name stands out, this is the same person that I had an issue with. This is the same person that I have an open case with an insurance company, Miller said. When the funeral home was raided in November, police were seen hauling out boxes of ashes and said it was part of an investigation into a potential identity theft of the dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Green was detained during the raid, but released that same day. Now, 8 months later, Green was charged on Tuesday with 5 felonies, including forgery, theft, and tampering with a government record. Charging documents accuse Green of forging documentation to receive a funeral director and embalming license.
Oh, so she's not even legitimately able to do that job. She just forged it.
Just forged it. Yeah. The charging documents also say detectives located a Home Depot bucket filled with organs and 48 boxes of cremated human remains.
Yikes. Why would she be keeping organs?
I don't think she knows how to do the job.
I mean, when you cremate people, you just do the whole thing. You don't have to take like the liver out or anything like that.
Or maybe she just was going to sell them on the side. I have no idea.
To who? Hannibal Lecter?
I have no idea.
You can't use them as like transplants if they've just sitting in a bucket.
Medical schools? I have no idea.
Wow.
No idea. Some families had been waiting for the remains of their loved ones since 2023, according to police.
Wow.
None of the charges filed against Green this week are related to Miller's case. Instead, 13 Investigates learned the new charges stem from allegations that Green stole a man's estate and forged or tampered with government documents. A search warrant filed in the case says the deceased man's family lives out of town and paid Green to conduct funeral services. Documents accuse Green of later forging a will on one man's behalf and stealing his nearly $2.2 million estate, including his home, cars, and investment accounts. So, not a nice person.
No, that's a bad person for sure.
It says our team found a will filed in Harris County months after the man died, saying that he left my entire estate to my long-term partner and common-law spouse, Unique M. Green, in recognition of her unwavering love, devotion, and support. That's a quote, by the way. The man's family told investigators they had never heard of Green until they contacted her for funeral services. 13 Investigates found criminal charges against Green in Harris County dating back to 1998. when she pleaded guilty to forgery and received deferred education, which is a lot like education, but not quite. Education. Hard for me to say.
That's hard to say.
Yeah. In 2007, Green pleaded guilty in federal court to submitting fraudulent claims to FEMA for funds after Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. A damn deadly pair, if you ask me. The indictment says she used fake Social Security numbers and addresses. Green was sentenced to almost 4 years in that case. So she's just
been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Since then, Harris County court records show Green had served sentences for several counts of forgery, assault, theft, and evading detention. Green is currently in Harris County jail for her latest charges, held on an $800,000 bond. Fair.
That's a good bond. I like that.
But when you consider you only need 10% to get out, it's not.
That's still $80,000, right? That's a lot.
But for someone who stole a $2.2 million estate,
yeah,
that's not a lot of money. Even though Miller said she is not aware of any issues of identity theft related to her two sons, she opened an investigation with New York Life, as she should, right?
Yeah, you'd want to make sure.
Miller alleges that the funeral home charged her son's policy double the amount she had approved on one of the invoices for Markavian's funeral expenses. That's an issue. Investigators with the life insurance company confirmed their findings in an email to Miller. The email says the handwriting on one document submitted to the life insurance company to increase the payment didn't match Miller's, but it did match the handwriting on past receipts she had received from the funeral home. So it looks like there was fraud there.
Mm-hmm.
They also determined the name on one submitted receipt did not appear to be Unique Green and said the name is illegible, according to the email. I don't care if it was 50 cents, $1, $100. That was something that was supposed to be towards me and my daughters to help close out his final businesses or final debts, Miller said. The life insurance company confirmed they are aware of an issue with Miller's son's life insurance policy, but are unable to comment. Miller said she's been in touch with Houston police, but the investigation into her son's policy, she said Green gave her most of the additional money, but she did not authorize the funeral home to charge her son's life insurance policy. So she said, no, you can't charge the life insurance policy for anything. New York Life has also reimbursed her, she said. Months after Green's arrest this week, 13 Investigates asked her about Miller's concerns. Green said she denied any wrongdoing and is confident that the full facts will demonstrate that after the fact, she acted lawfully and appropriately at all times. But still, there's all those boxes and a bucket full of organs.
Good. Ugh, that is bad.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't want my organs to be in a bucket. I don't want that. I told my husband just the other day, I was like, I don't need a tombstone. I don't need anything like that. I'm like, just throw me in the lake.
Everybody says that, but then you hear about people's bodies who were abused in some way or they were mistreated in some way. And then you hear about their ghosts hanging around until their body is properly interred.
But then I could be the lady of the lake. How cool would that be?
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
If I have to be a ghost, I told him my only request is that I want one of my arms to be like pointing upward. So he's going to have to like somehow, maybe put a bar on it and hook it on there so that like when the water gets low, just my fingers can poke out a little bit now and then to be extra creepy.
There's always the old joke too. You could always, as far as I'm concerned, you could always bury me ass up and make me a memorial bike rack. I
like that idea.
There's that, keep it green, right? Recycle me.
That's right.
And the kids will always be fond of me, right?
You can have a bike tire in your ass.
That's right. That's right.
I'll just be the lady of the lake somewhere.
Yeah, you'll be the elegant lady of the lake. I'll just be the rotting bike rack that the kids park at, at the local library or something.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. On that note, speaking of kids, I have the most unusual lawsuit sitting in front of me here, which is always fun. We're going over to England, where a father has sued a council for 16,000 pounds after a teacher tells his kid to cut down on Doritos.
Ooh,
Right.
kid has a real problem or something.
Yeah. And it gets even worse than that, Jess, when you find out what the teacher actually tried to get the kid to eat. Looking out for
An apple?
Close.
Okay.
A father launched legal against his local council after his son was urged to ditch Doritos for healthy alternatives. The fuming fella claimed the decision violated his son's human rights.
What?
He has a human right to Doritos.
I mean, I guess he does, but
You have a human right to destroy yourself through MSG, and I'm not talking Madison Square Garden. A furious father attempted to sue a council after claiming his son's human rights were violated after teachers told him to stop eating Doritos. The irate dad demanded a massive payout of 16,000 pounds from the council, enough to buy a staggering 13,000 packets of the triangle-shaped snack. The row was kicked off after the school attempted to guide the 12-year-old, 12 years old.
they're just trying to teach him some healthy habits.
Can you believe he's 12 years old and he can't hear the word no?
And his dad is suing over it.
Right. They wanted to guide the 12-year-old towards a healthier snack, resulting in the kid eating nothing. So the kid was like, no, I'm not going to eat anything healthy. I will eat nothing.
So then he went home and he was hungry and his dad was mad.
Yeah. So he's going to sue the school.
That's crazy. If my kid did that, I'd be like, well, natural consequences, honey. You didn't, you could have had an apple or whatever was healthy.
Here's the kicker. The 12-year-old who is autistic and is also a known eating condition turned up to a school in Yorkshire with the Doritos. However, a teacher at the school allegedly tried to encourage the kid to swap out the Doritos for a healthier alternative. Kicking back at the decision, the boy's father has attempted to sue the council, claiming the needs of his son were breached.
So he has autism and an eating issue, and that's why he'll only eat the Doritos. So it's not like just a kid being a stinker. It's,
right. It's
okay.
It's in his routine, and he's autistic, so they don't want to take it out.
I would still probably not be suing anyone, but
right. But they could probably get the kid to eat something else. And there's probably something else he would eat, but it's probably they don't want to fight him.
right.
Yeah. The dad also claimed teachers at the school had been too rough on his child during a previous incident when they pulled his kid off of another child he had been strangling.
What?
The kid's a little violent.
I think anything they had to do to get him off the other kid is fair game.
Yeah. I don't think you can let your kid.
I mean, I get he has issues, but
Yeah, I don't care what issue your kid has. He shouldn't be strangling other children. The boy's father demanded 10,000 pounds for discrimination and injury to feelings and an additional 6,000 pounds for breach of duty and human rights. The father's actions forced the council to lawyer up and hire solicitors and a barrister to fight the legal action. Despite the father's attempt to sue, a judge threw out the claims and the child's rights and claims that the child's rights had been violated. So the judge said, oh, no, bullshit on that. The judge ruled that guiding pupils towards healthier foods was the correct action from the school. The judge also threw out the complaint concerning claims teachers had been too rough on the child while he was strangling another child. Yeah, the judge probably made the right decision there.
good job, Judge.
Yeah. Despite the incident leaving marks on the 12-year-old's arms, the judge stated staff had acted reasonably. The court was told the boy had been applying maximum force while strangling another pupil for 30 to 40 seconds.
Oh my gosh, this is so scary.
Yeah. Speaking to the court, the council's barrister stated that it is difficult to imagine a more high-risk situation. The 12-year-old's father represented himself in court and has also been ordered to pay the council's legal costs. Compensation culture launched against schools has been dubbed a runaway train fueled by a no-win, no-fee lawyer by Christopher McGovern of the Campaign for Real Education. So, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, interesting little story, isn't it? That's for sure. All right. With that, it's time now for us to enter into that little land you love so much, Jess. It's time now for Not Safe for Work. With that, we encourage you to, if you have children listening by now, they're probably terrorized that they're going to be strangled by some autistic kid at school. So they've probably already gotten up and fled out of the room.
Like Doritos on his fingers.
With little Dorito hands. But if they're still around listening, probably escort them out of the room. If your boss is listening, he's probably worried that you have little Dorito hands that you're going to strangle him with. He's probably left as well and gone golfing. But if he's still around, probably book him a tea time. And we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. We start in Japan. I know normally we start in Florida.
Well, I'm excited to get lewd, nude, and crude in Japan. Let's go.
How did you know that was what we were doing right away? It's like you're reading my stories or reading my mind.
I'm reading your mind psychically, Tim.
But that's exactly what we're doing, Jess. We're getting lewd, nude, and crude and coachy. That almost sounded like a lewd, nude, and crude term, but that's what we're doing. A man was arrested after walking naked into a convenience store in Kochi. Now, you may say that's relatively tame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But keep in mind, we're in Japan.
They're not used to that. This is not Florida, people.
That's right. We're not in Florida. Police in Kochi City, Kochi Prefecture have arrested a 28-year-old unemployed man for public indecency after he walked into a convenience store completely naked. The incident occurred early Wednesday morning, shortly before 2 a.m. Police received a call from a passerby reporting that a naked man was walking along a street. Yeah. Police searched for the man, and at around 4 a.m., it took them 2 hours to find this guy. He's got to be the only naked guy out there.
I mean, I think he would stand out.
Well, maybe he doesn't stand out, but, yeah. But they received a call from a convenience store employee at around 4 a.m. saying that a naked man had walked into the store and then left. Police found the man, Reo Kubo, in the store parking lot and arrested him. Police quoted Kubo as saying he just felt like walking naked and that he had done so before. Kubo was not drunk at the time. He just was out for a naked walk.
I mean, a naked stroll does sound kind of nice on a hot day.
If it was hot.
I mean, like yesterday when it was 100 degrees, if I'm going outside, probably going to be naked.
Boy, just today, it was 90 today at like 11 in the morning.
I know.
90 and humid. I just went out to feed the wildlife. Just put seeds in the dish and put a little water in a dish. I tried to do that in record time today, Jess.
No, and it's like so humid. It's like wet. It's like walking through soup. So, I mean, you might as well be naked. If you're wearing clothes, it's like a wet t-shirt contest anyway.
Yeah, I still have some respect for my neighbors, so I won't do that. I wouldn't do that to them. Plus, the animals would be blinded, and I don't have enough money to buy tiny little sunglasses for each bird in the neighborhood, and the little animals underground. I mean, I'd have to try and find all them.
It's a lot of little tiny sunglasses.
Yeah, and I don't know that Temu sells little tiny sunglasses for little animals. I mean, I could look, but
I bet they do.
Probably. But
I bet they do.
The tariffs on little tiny sunglasses have to be outrageous, especially coming from China. That's probably going to run me thousands of dollars, and I don't have that.
Probably just for the tariffs.
I just don't have that kind of money. Our next story, we're going to, I believe is this York County, Pennsylvania? Yes, it is. All right, kids, literally kids, you got to be on the lookout for this guy. This is just an outrageous story. A pastor sent nude photos to insert male dominance to a 15-year-old York County boy.
What?
I know, it sounds outrageous, right?
Who is this pastor? Where is this church so we can burn it down?
Again, York County, Pennsylvania.
We're on our way.
We're on our way. Again, just the most insane thought that is what you do. That is how you accomplish male dominance. The phrase male dominance, right? First of all, and that coming from your local pastor. Bizarre. So yes, this pastor Jess claims he wants to insert male dominance. He wants to insert something, but I don't know that male dominance is it. But we go to York County, Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania State Police have charged an Alexandria, Virginia pastor in connection with reports that he sent several illicit photos to a then 15-year-old York County boy. Kenneth Baldwin has been charged with 2 counts of unlawful contact with a minor, corruption of minors, indecent exposure, and open lewdness after an investigation was launched in May of 2026. PSP said Baldwin went to the victim's church and that's Pennsylvania State Police, said Baldwin went to the victim's church in November of 2024 to preach a sermon. And then the 2 exchanged numbers afterwards. First of all, that's a big timeout. That's a big red flag, flag on the field.
No.
When was the last time you exchanged numbers with the pastor?
Never.
Yeah. There you go. That's the correct answer. Troopers said he started sending explicit messages to the victim and was sending multiple images a week up until December of 2025. Merry Christmas to you. According to an affidavit, state police spoke with the teenager who was 17 at the time in May of 2026. He told investigators that when he and Baldwin would chat, messages would revolve around masculinity. Okay. Baldwin, who was employed with Crossroads Baptist Church at the time, would then insert his male dominance and show his manhood. That's not how you do that.
Ew.
Troopers noted in the affidavit, he would then also send messages claiming he had a big Johnson. That's in quotes.
What?
I'll tell you this much. Camera angles can be deceiving.
Yeah. It's like when they come in and take pictures of your house for the real estate ad.
Yeah.
Our room is huge.
This room is 20 by 20, but it's really 8 by 10. It's just the way they film it. Charging documents show Baldwin eventually encouraged the victim to download WhatsApp so they could talk privately. Initiating conversations like, is the coast clear, or CC, coast clear, before sending more illicit photographs. On May 21st of 2026, the police said Baldwin messaged the victim again and had sent him another image, which was seized by state police. Another message was sent on June 1st, Pennsylvania State Police noted in the affidavit. After confessing to sending nude images of himself to a minor on June 9th, troopers spoke with Baldwin at the York State Police Station. Baldwin reportedly told state police he thought the victim was probably 15 when they started speaking, and he was absent-minded because he acted so much older. Right. He admitted to sending 15 images to the teen, according to the affidavit. In a news release, Pennsylvania State Police said it has reason to believe Baldwin sent similar images to more minors.
Of course he did.
If he did it to one minor, he did to many.
Of course he did. Yes, he's a freaking pervert.
Yeah, like we were talking with Gerald Cliff earlier, our guest in the first segment. It's these offenders have multiple victims, and this is just the one we know about. Yeah, and then they network with other offenders. So this teen's pictures are probably out there to multiple offenders. Yeah. If you have more information about Baldwin, believe it or not, you can contact the Pennsylvania State Police in York at 717-428-1011. So it would be much obliged if you had any information on the not so good pastor. All right. I'm going to show you a picture here, Jess. This man right here.
All right.
What do you think his offense was?
Well, maybe some sort of intoxication.
Okay.
And I assume nakedness.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Intoxication and nakedness.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good start.
It's a nice combination.
That is a good, yeah. That's a good combination. We'll go with that. Well, we'll just say throw a little Tinder on that deal.
Ooh.
And the word sugar baby come into this as well.
Ooh, he's a sugar daddy, huh?
Yeah, he's a sugar daddy. That's for sure. A Tinder sugar baby deal goes really, really sour. Turns out that this man is a spurned benefactor, and he's also busted for a reason that I shall tell you about here in a minute. A sugar baby arrangement went sour when a young woman who apparently wanted nothing to do with the string attached fled the home of a Florida man. That's right, this man's from Florida, who then gave chase in his truck, rammed into her vehicle, and pulled a gun on her friend.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know if there was alcohol involved, but there's a firearm because it's Florida. According to investigators, 67-year-old David O'Brien, who you just saw the picture of, Jess, met 21-year-old Mariah Turbach this month on the Tinder dating app. During a subsequent exchange of messages, O'Brien explained that he was looking for a sugar baby and would pay $1,000 each visit. Hell, I'll go visit him for $1,000 each time.
Come on over.
Right? So it was $1,000 each visit, dinner, and an I love to shop for you.
Oh. Doesn't sound bad so far.
No, so far it's a pretty good arrangement, right? I mean, there's probably one big string attached.
I mean, probably.
Right.
But.
Right. O'Brien and the sugar baby agreed to meet for a meal on Tuesday evening. Turbach was driven to the July 21st date by 3 of her friends. I don't know what they thought they were going to do there.
Squad up.
Right? Sugar baby squad, activate. What were they going to do? Hold the camera? Provide the alcohol, bartend? O'Brien, according to an arrest report, gave the woman $200 and took her to a lingerie store where she purchased 3 items. Okay, so he's in for a 5th so far, but he's got more money coming. After O'Brien provided Turbach with another $600 at the restaurant, so he's in for $800 so far.
Okay.
The pair went back to his residence at the village's retirement community, which O'Brien purchased in April for $270,000. All right.
Nothing sexier than going back to a retirement home.
Right. Maybe a little pickleball after that. You never know. Turbach told cops that she began to feel uncomfortable in O'Brien's home and contacted her friends to come pick her up. Sugar baby squad. Right. With his sugar baby fixing to depart, O'Brien told her that she should give the money back because that was not the arrangement. Declining the refund request, Turbach left the property and got into the car with her friends and left the area. This is going.
And he came on after him.
Well, this is going. She's got $800 of his money.
I mean, he didn't say she had to do anything in the ad, though, right? He just said, I want to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
I like to shop. I'll
Right.
give you $1,000.
That's right. You're right, Jess. So far, you are right.
That's right.
He didn't say you needed to bend over for that 800 or 1,000. He just said shop and dinner. You're right.
Yeah.
O'Brien then jumped into his Ford F-150 pickup and began to chase the 4 victims. He subsequently rammed into their vehicle at a traffic circle, causing it to strike a pole. Not the pole he was hoping. He then allegedly came around again and hit the victim's car once more, causing it to become disabled. While Turbach and 2 of her friends fled, a 22-year-old male occupant of the car was confronted by O'Brien, who allegedly pointed his .22 semi-automatic Ruger at him and told him to get on the ground or he would kill him.
Oh, my goodness.
And now it just got serious.
Yeah, this is scary.
Yeah. Eventually, O'Brien became distracted, allowing the victim, who told cops he thought he was going to be shot, to run away. The defendant then attempted to locate the other victims briefly until he heard law enforcement arriving. When deputies got to the scene, O'Brien was at his F-150 with the gun in his possession. Turbach and her 3 friends, cops reported, all stated that they were in fear for their lives. During police questioning, O'Brien said the topic of sex first came up during dinner when more details of the arrangements were discussed with Turbach. Upon returning to his home, O'Brien added he began to massage Turbach's feet. There's that foot thing again, Jess. And she was on her phone the entire time. So she was showing a little bit of disinterest.
She's not really into it.
No, she wasn't into it. When the woman later announced that she was going to call an Uber, O'Brien told cops he knew things were not going to go as he planned and asked for his money back. After Turbach refused to return the cash and left in the car she arrived in, O'Brien, police reported, O'Brien, police reported, said he knew he had been scammed, that's in quotes, and that angered him. O'Brien reportedly admitted chasing the woman's car, but said he only grazed it from behind. As for pulling out his gun, O'Brien claimed that he thought Turbach's car might have been stolen and that he was going to try to control the situation by brandishing the firearm. So he's
a hero.
Oh, yeah. Citizen's arrest,
really?
Right?
Yeah.
Right. After initially being read his rights, O'Brien told police of a prior sugar baby arrangement in another state. That paid relationship, he noted, worked out perfectly for him. So he doesn't know why this went astray. I mean, yeah. O'Brien was arrested on 5 felony charges. So it was aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 4 counts of aggravated battery. He's being held in lieu of how much bond, Jess, in the Sumter County Jail?
Well, we're in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. It's got to be under 20,000.
Oh, no.
Right.
Go higher this time, my friend.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess he did brandish a firearm. So let's go with 50,000.
I'll give you one more shot and go a little higher. Bump it up.
Really? Still higher? Okay. 75,000.
$90,000.
Wow. They're not playing.
For once, Florida comes through.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Just once, though. Just once.
They'll let you do a lot of things, but
That's right.
can't do that.
That's right. Our next story. This may sound like a story we had last week, but it's not, I swear.
Okay.
Do you remember the woman with the drugs who had them all over?
Yeah.
I think she has a cousin. We're going back to Tennessee. A woman is accused of exposing herself during a traffic stop in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Ooh, wardrobe malfunction, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
No,
Oh,
not a whoopsie doo.
She meant it. It's getting hot everywhere in the country,
Ooh,
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it is. Yeah.
Officers found what they suspected to be cocaine and drug paraphernalia on both the woman and the 68-year-old male driver she was with. I guess when in doubt, strip it out.
I mean, solid advice.
Yeah. A woman was accused of exposing herself during a traffic stop in Lebanon, Tennessee, according to the Lebanon Police Department. On Tuesday night, officers conducted a traffic stop after seeing a passenger not wearing her seatbelt. So she decided not to wear anything else. During the traffic stop, Canine Donner alerted officers to the possible presence of narcotics in the vehicle. When the canine alerts you, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's all over.
During the investigation, the 66-year-old passenger was removed from the vehicle and reportedly began to expose herself to passing drivers on Highway 109.
Oh, it was a show for everyone.
Yeah, everyone got in on it.
Oh, I thought it was just for the officers.
No. Now, keep in mind, she's 66 years old.
I mean,
I think she had a bit of a toot before she got out of the car because she was raring to go. As the investigation continued, police said officers found what was suspected to be cocaine and drug paraphernalia on both the woman and the 68-year-old male driver. Both the man and woman were arrested without incident and charged with multiple offenses. They say here, at least the LPD, not LAPD, but the LPD said, great work by K-9 Donner and our D shift officers for their continued commitment to keeping our community safe from a couple of senior citizens who were bumping cocaine in their car.
This is like the wild, this is the wild senior edition.
Right. I didn't know seniors still did cocaine, but I guess.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I would think at a certain point in your life, you're like, I'm just too old for this.
Right. Like, it's time to slow down a little bit. It's time to, enjoy the grandkids.
Yeah, but you got these ones over here doing their drugs. You got this other guy over here on Tinder. Like, I didn't even know people in retirement homes knew what Tinder was.
Right? But they're out there getting their relationship.
I mean, one part of me is like, good for him. And the other part's like, no, that's bad.
That's right. All right. Well, with that, Jess, we need a palate cleanser, right? Now that we've 66-year-old woman stripping on the side of the road in Lebanon, I need to think about something else. We're going to talk today about vacation tips.
I love vacation tips.
There are a lot of good ones out there. These are not so good ones. These are things that went wrong on vacation and probably things you should avoid.
Okay.
So I've got 3 different short stories here for you. Things you should avoid while on vacation. Let's start with our first one. I don't know. Have you ever taken a hot air balloon ride while on vacation?
No, that seems really scary. But
never been in a hot air balloon?
Have you?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've been in a hot air balloon. I started to enjoy it as I was taking off. I didn't enjoy it when I got in the air.
I am both afraid of heights and claustrophobic. So the idea of being in a tiny basket up in the air is, I'm having heart palpitations right now.
Okay. Heights. Yeah, I'm not great with heights, but you're right. It's the claustrophobia. It's the idea that you're in this tiny basket and you can't go anywhere. And if you fall out, you are effed, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's
so scary.
Completely it. According to witnesses, a worker fell 15 feet from a hot air balloon at a local carnival and 2 riders were injured.
Oh, no.
I just said the magic words there. Never take the hot air balloon at the local carnival. Now, on your vacation, local carnivals are a great thing, right? Maybe you're at a cabin. Mm-hmm. They happen to have a local carnival. Maybe you're up in Brainerd and it's the Turtle Festival. You never know. Maybe you go to the Turtle Festival and you're like, hey, let's watch the turtle races. And hey, there's a hot air balloon. Let's go for a hot air balloon ride. Time out. Let's not go on the hot air balloon.
You don't really want to be flown in a hot air balloon by someone who works at a carnival.
You don't want to do that.
I feel like you need a pilot license or something.
Right. No, let's not let the carny fly us around the town. Right?
I mean,
it's a dangerous proposition. We're going to Richland Township, Pennsylvania. What was meant to be a fun attraction at the Community Heroes Carnival outside Johnstown Galleria took a drastic turn on Thursday evening when a worker reportedly fell 15 feet from a hot air balloon. At around 6 p.m., the 6 News crew on scene says employees with the hot air balloon company began calling for help when the balloon reportedly became unstable in strong winds. Moments later, a gust of wind lifted the balloon into the air. Their videographer says the crew member who was holding the rope was pulled approximately 15 feet into the air before dropping to the ground.
Oh, he wasn't even in it. He was just trying to keep it from going.
Yeah. And the balloon basket, which had multiple passengers inside, was dragged across the ground at the same time.
Good for him for trying to save them, though. I mean, like, I would have just let go. I've been like, bye.
We'll see you.
The moment my feet came off the ground.
See you in heaven. Right.
I'm 2 inches off the ground. I'm letting go of that rope. Sorry, I'm not going to be a hero.
2 of the 3 occupants and the crew member who fell were later seen being loaded into an ambulance. Officials from the hot air balloon company confirmed that one man, who was a crew worker, fell while trying to hold down the balloon. Passengers that they spoke to at 6 News say they did not blame any of the crew members and add that they were not discouraged to try and ride in a balloon again. Why?
No.
You should be at that point. I don't think you
Fool
have,
me once, but fool me twice. Shame on me.
then you deserve to die in a hot air balloon at that point, pretty much. 2 witnesses also explained that they rushed to help those injured before EMS got to the scene. We started walking up this way and we just heard screaming, and we turned around and we saw the balloon was just dragging these people in this basket, and they're just screaming because they're being dragged along the pavement. So that's whenever that's whenever we ran to her truck and got her first aid kit, and we came back and gloved up and helped with the first aid until the ambulance got there. I don't know what's worse, being dragged along pavement or having some stranger that may not know first aid give you first aid.
They're giving you mouth to mouth, and you're like, freaking breathe.
Yeah, they're like, it may be my work gloves from, putting bull semen in the bowl this morning, but I got gloves on.
That's a little manure on it. It's no big deal.
Yeah. I just milked a bull this morning, but other than that, they're sterile. Witnesses say one of the riders reportedly suffered a head injury, while the worker is believed to have facial injuries from the fall.
Wow.
It's all right. He wasn't a pretty man anyways.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Emergency crews and police evaluated the scene and spoke with those in the basket. 6 News reached out to the Cambria County Crime Stoppers, who organized the carnival, for comment. They said, our thoughts are with those who may have been injured during the hot air balloon incident. The balloon rides were provided, operated, and managed by an independent professional third-party vendor, and were not operated or controlled by Cambria County Crime Stoppers or any volunteers of the carnival. Automatically just eschew responsibility.
Not our fault.
Yeah, we didn't do it. We are confident the appropriate vendor, Lehigh Valley Hot Air, can address any questions regarding that attraction. The Community Heroes Carnival will continue tonight with a monster truck show at 7 p.m.
Where no one will be disfigured.
That's right, where no one will lose their lives. They also will have live music and carnival rides, so if you want to lose a limb, you'll have a second chance.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
No, thank you.
So there you go. Our second story, Jess. Again, another way you don't want to spend your vacation. A woman suffers a catastrophic genital injury as a rope swing on holiday goes horribly wrong.
Oh, Tim.
Rope swings over a river, Jess, are a generally bad idea.
Oh my goodness. I am uncomfortable with just the title of this story. Carry on. Let's hear it.
A dream cruise turned into a nightmare for Kirsten Lindsay, who tried a rope swing excursion, but ended up with what was described as a grapefruit-sized lady bits.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Remember, when signing up for the cruise, take the leisurely stroll. Go pet
grapefruit size.
Go pet a dolphin. Don't swing over anything on a rope.
I mean, if you do, wear your chastity belt or something like metal thing to protect your girl parts.
Wear your iron girdle.
Yeah.
A woman suffered a catastrophic genital injury in a horror rope swing accident while enjoying a cruise and had to be airlifted to the U.S. I wonder if that was
so sad for her. This is terrible.
I wonder if that was a couple's cruise, and if the guy on the cruise was like, "So, honey, do you think now?"
It's their honeymoon, Tim. That guy is never getting laid again.
Do you think he's like, oh, there's still oral?
Yeah.
The ultimate optimist.
She's like, I will bite it off.
Your hands weren't injured when you were swinging on that rope. You know, he's coming up with stuff that's going to get him killed. He's going to get thrown overboard.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every guy out there is like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Her hands aren't injured. Yes, injured while enjoying a cruise and had to be airlifted to the U.S. A dream cruise turned into a nightmare on the third day of Kirsten Lindsay's holiday when she tried a rope swing excursion and was left seriously injured, reportedly due to a problem with the equipment. And we're not talking just her equipment, if you know what I mean. Kirsten's boyfriend, Blake Ford, said it was her first ever cruise, but it turned into a horrifying experience for the couple with overwhelming financial implications. Keep in mind, when you get injured on a cruise, you have to pay the medical bill right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yes. I've experienced that personally.
I'm adding that to the list of reasons I'm never going on a cruise.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, intern Yoko once got an infection on a cruise. $2,700.
That's bananas.
Yeah. $2,700. Had to come out of pocket before you leave the ship.
That way they won't let you leave.
No. Otherwise, you become a slave. You become a pirate for life. I don't know how you pay that off, but you have to pay it off before you leave the ship.
Oh my God. You know, between writing a book about the Titanic and that movie Ghost Ship, you know, that opening scene from that movie where the line comes through and just freaking chops everybody in half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good on cruises.
Yeah.
Now you told me this.
Yep. Yeah. Never get deathly ill on a cruise ship. You have to pay it before you leave.
That docuseries, the Poop Cruise or whatever. Did you watch that on Netflix?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Those people had to pay. They don't take insurance.
it's crazy.
They had to pay.
I guess.
They had to pay
It's like
before they
no
left.
man's land. It's not a state. It's international
That's
water.
right.
So there's.
That's right.
I don't like that.
Blake described the injury in eye-watering detail. Hold on to something, Jess. Here we claiming it was caused by an improperly connected retrieval line and left Kirsten with what was described as a grapefruit-sized lady bits. That is a quote.
Oh, poor girl.
He wrote in a GoFundMe, what was supposed to be Kirsten's first cruise turned into the worst experience of our lives on day 3 of our Carnival cruise. Thank you, Carnival. I've never heard a good thing about a Carnival cruise. I'm just saying, I never have. Kirsten was seriously injured during a rope swing excursion. By the way, this is the rope in question.
Oh, it's a dangerous rope.
Yeah, it does not look safe. My nuts hurt right now looking at it. I'll just tell you that right now.
I'm like physically uncomfortable from this story. Like,
based on what we witnessed, a retrieval tagline appears to have been improperly connected to the swing. As she swung out, the line tightened between her legs just before she dropped, causing a catastrophic injury. Yeah. No good.
Yeah, I'm not swinging on anything. I'm not jumping off of anything. No. If you have to well, I can't say that. I did do that thing on Fremont Avenue where you are like above everything and you like soar across
the zip line.
Sky, but
yeah, you did the zip line.
Zip line. I couldn't think of words. Thank you, Tim.
That's okay. It's words is hard right now when you think about it.
But you know that girl that she was like jumping off the side of a bridge or something, and they didn't put any like harness on her at all, and they just freaking threw her. Did you see that video?
I've heard that video may not be real.
Really?
Yeah.
If that's AI, I'm mad because I was so upset about. Are you serious?
Yeah. I've heard it's AI. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I sincerely hope so because that was horrifying.
Yeah, I think I've heard it's an AI video. Yeah. There's certain identifiers that say it, that tell you it's
or are
an
they
AI
just
video.
telling us it's AI?
No.
We don't know what to believe anymore.
No, I've heard it's AI.
I
So,
gotta Google this now.
yeah.
I feel so bad for this girl, though. Can you imagine? I'm like squeezing my legs together just listening to you talk about this story. Like,
I'll get through it. We're almost through it.
oh,
Blake described how his partner initially thought the injury was only minor and even tried to laugh through the pain. Over a matter of hours, the swelling became increasingly severe and the pain escalated to unbearable levels. Using a wheelchair to return to their cabin, Blake called the emergency services. She was taken to the medical center. He explained that she underwent hours of treatment, but the swelling went to roughly the size of a baseball.
wow.
Yeah. Doctors on the ship offered the couple 3 options: to be airlifted to the U.S., to navigate the hospital, or to try to navigate the hospital system on the Mexican Caribbean island of Cozumel. Good luck with that. You probably would have lost the entire undercarriage, or remain in the medical center for the rest of the trip, which, again, good luck with that. All they can do is give you aspirin in the medical center.
Yeah.
Choosing air evacuation, they were told that they would need to pay a $20,000 deposit with a further $30,000 due once they reach the States.
That's insane.
So 50 grand.
Nobody has just 50 grand sitting in their bank account to pay for this.
Right. Kirsten also spent about 26 hours in the ship's medical center, racking up a bill of roughly $3,500. There's that as well, because they charge you the medical center, in addition to other medical expenses, including medications. He added during that time, her pain became so severe that she could barely move. And at one point, the medical staff told me that they were trying to keep her awake because she would stop breathing whenever she drifted off from the pain medication.
Oh, wow. So she's sensitive. That's
Mm-hmm.
scary.
Eventually, the couple, who have launched a fundraiser to help cover the escalating costs, were flown to Fort Lauderdale. As of July 24th, donations totaled $19,278, which, again, hardly enough to cover everything that they've been charged with. Kirsten later had surgery, with medics reportedly saying they had never seen an injury like that before, like hers before. She shared an update on her recovery on Facebook on July 23rd. She thanked everyone who donated and warned that fake GoFundMe pages had been set up using her partner's name, stressing that they were only running one official fundraiser. In her post, she disclosed that she was now home. She says, "I want to say thank you a million times to everyone so much for your love and support. It did not go unnoticed." A spokesperson for Carnival said, "We are aware of reports regarding a guest who was injured while independently exploring Honduras." Notice how they said independently. They don't want to take any responsibility.
Not us.
Mm-hmm. After returning to the ship, the guest was promptly cared for by our onboard medical team, which provided treatment and facilitated access to traditional medical sources. Again, not wanting to take direct responsibility. While the incident did not occur on a Carnival-sponsored excursion, we remained concerned for the guests' recovery. The safety and well-being of our guests is always our top priority. Again, okay, so this is why it's complete bullshit. They give you a list of excursions. They are sponsoring it. They're telling you these are the excursions you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a choice. How else are you going to find out about the excursions? You find out through them.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
They don't want to touch it.
Right. And then they tell you, well, we never said anything like that. We never told you that. We didn't, and then if something happens, well, it's not our fault. But you told us about it, right? We signed all the paperwork through you. Mm-hmm. We got the contact to go on this thing through you. And then when we get injured, oh, it's not us. Then you charge us an arm and a leg to get out of here.
That's the worst part to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a racket. So, all right. And finally, while you're out there on vacation, you're going to need to eat. So one of the best places I think you could ever eat, especially in the South, it's cheap, it's easy. You just need to learn how to fight. It's Waffle House.
Oh. I do love Waffle House.
I do too. Best grits ever. The one rule Waffle House really wants solo diners to follow. Now, you may end up going in by yourself because maybe the family doesn't like Waffle House. I don't know. But if you're at Waffle House, here's what you need to know if it's just you. Okay? I'm about to give you some good advice here, folks. This is how we're going to end it today. A few decades ago, eating alone was a crime punishable by unwanted stares and judgmental whispers. Nowadays, dining alone is a fast-growing trend. In fact, according to an Open Table survey, 60% of people dine alone while traveling. Did you know that, Jess?
I did not. Sounds lonely.
It does sound lonely. Open Table, which is an online service that helps you book reservations at local restaurants. You probably don't need one for Waffle House, I'm guessing.
They don't take reservations, Tim.
No, and
You don't think so?
And you probably shouldn't for Waffle House. That's my guess, especially late at night. So Open Table books reservations at local restaurants. Also noticed that the number of reservations for solo diners on its site increased by nearly 8% within a year. With more people enjoying solo meals, restaurants have implemented simple rules for these diners. Places like Waffle House, which is known for its delicious, affordable food and ability to attract all types of crazy and chaotic events to its doors, have a singular house rule that it wants solo diners to follow. Always look for a seat at the counter first.
No table for you if you're solo.
That's right. Now you know where to go the next time you eat by yourself at the Waffle House, which was Anthony Bourdain's favorite 24-hour spot to dine. And if Anthony Bourdain loved it, it must be good, right?
Heck yeah.
Even though guests are allowed to sit wherever they want when a host or hostess isn't available, that doesn't mean you take wherever you want. Waffle House prefers solo diners eat at the counter. So eating arrangements don't mess with the flow of service. By sitting at the counter when you're alone, the staff is able to thoroughly assist all guests and ensure everyone is seated properly. Plus, Waffle House likes to use its booths for either two people or larger groups. So these patrons have more space to dine comfortably. However, if you prefer to sit at a booth alone, you can ask a host or hostess for assistance. But there's no guarantee your seating request will be granted or that you'll be seated immediately upon arrival. There's also two or other Waffle House rules to keep in mind when you're eating alone. One, always eat with your fists up like this because you never know when you're going to have to defend yourself. And in one hand, keep your fork, and in the other, a knife. And it's a sharp one at that because you never know when a knife fight's going to break out. Those are the two rules that you need to know when you're eating in Waffle House, especially in Florida. So there you go.
All right. Now we know. Thank you, Tim. That was such a public safety announcement.
Well,
or was that public service safety announcement?
Public service and safety announcement. So there you go. I live to serve, Jess. So there you go. Yeah.
They're educators.
We're educators. That's right. We're just here to serve the public.
That's true. That's all we care about.
That's all we care about. We just want you to get through your vacation safely.
Yeah.
And if you're in Florida and you need a good place to stay dry in a hurricane, it's a little known fact. A great place to stop in a hurricane to be absolutely safe, go to the strip club. No windows. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good advice, Tim.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Just remember, if you're going to sit at the tip rail, which is right in the center of the club, which is the safest spot.
Okay, have some dollar bills.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Jess. I was just going to say that. It's also reinforced because of all the stripper poles in the middle of the strip club.
Safest place in the whole state.
That's right. Right in the middle of the strip club. Bring some dollar bills with you. There you go, Jess. Thank you. Thank you for finishing that tip for me. I appreciate that. I didn't.
I'm reading your mind tonight, Tim.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's like we're a married couple.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing your sentences.
I appreciate that. Makes the show go so much smoother. So yeah, it's almost it makes things go so much quicker.
It's just gonna reach in there and grab its punchline. Why not?
It's almost like we were a married couple that got trapped in a hurricane in Florida, and we had to do it. It's almost like we're speaking from experience. It was almost like I was like, "Honey, can you reach in your purse and grab me a few ones?"
And I said, I knew we were coming to Florida, honey, so I came prepared and pull out my giant wad.
What?
Wait, what?
Huh?
Was that your giant wad?
Yeah, that would be.
I know there was a giant wad in there somewhere, Tim.
Well, you've got two hands, Jess. So either way, you're prepared.
Oh, God.
That's right. So on that note, it's time to end the program. Jess, other than the books coming out August 11th, you also have you also have a wonderful workshop available online.
We do. I have an online course. If you go to my website, jessicafreeberg.com, you can find it. It's called Stop Shrinking. Ways that you can, speaking of a giant wad. Somehow this came full circle and I didn't even mean for it to, but.
Yes, stop shrinking. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with genitals, Tim, but.
No, I know. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything.
Anyway, we'll just leave that there.
Yeah.
Check it out.
That's right. We have links to both in the description of this program, both the workshop and to pre-order the books by all means. Yes. Partake in both. So please do. Tomorrow on the big program, Mally Fox has the week off. We have a guest co-host.
I do love a good co-host who's guest hosting.
Do I dare say? Should I say?
Yeah, tell us. Spill the beans.
It is a week of Jesses.
Yay!
Jessie Doyle is back tomorrow from Hellbent Holler.
Jessie Doyle, we love her.
Fresh off of Blood Mountain. And that's not a euphemism for anything. I swear to God, it is not. She literally just got done filming off of Blood Mountain on her new movie.
Was she swinging on a rope off the mountain? Is she okay?
Yes, she's just fine. She hasn't injured anything.
Jess, are you okay?
Yes, she's just fine. But she's in tomorrow and just got done filming her new movie with Hellbent Holler. And she's doing Supernatural News tomorrow. So
I love it.
Yeah.
She's so great.
Yeah. So she's in tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we have a bit of a surprise. A little bit of a surprise. We're going to be talking to an investigator who's been around since God was a child. Actually, someone who worked with someone quite famous. In fact, someone who's been a little bit in the news this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. Been in a slight bit of controversy. But this person has not. This person actually has some amazing abilities, as a matter of fact. So we're going to talk to that person about these abilities. And
a good tease. I'm excited.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very interesting program. Very interesting program indeed. So.
What a good week. And I hope Mally enjoys some much deserved time off.
Yeah. She's got a lot going on. She does. Yeah. But she's in the middle of a project right now. So she's talked a little bit about it on Supernatural News, but she's in the middle of a project right now, and so she needs a well-deserved week off. So she's got the well-deserved week off. So there you go. All right, before we go, reminder, go support the show, darknessradioshow.com. Go to the shop, get your True Crime Tuesday swag, your Darkness Radio swag. If you're listening to the show and not watching this show, by all means, go to the YouTube channel and watch the show on video. And third, was there a third here, Jess? I don't think there was. Tune in tomorrow for Supernatural News and Jessie Doyle from Hellbent Holler. There you go. For Jessica Freeberg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the best in true crime podcasting. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to True Crime Tuesday.